Mike Anello, and I'm a former walk-on for the University of Notre Dame's football team. And what I'm going to do with this video blog is take you through the summer of my junior year all the way up through my junior year and kind of explain to you all the stories that happened and how they unfolded and how basically I went from being a scout team player to finally making it on the field on Saturdays. And the reason why I created this video blog was twofold. One, I kind of want to help out some of the younger guys who have heard some of my stories and want to learn a little bit more. But the main reason why I'm doing this is for St. Baldrick's. And basically to give you a little background on St. Baldrick's. It was started by three friends who decided to turn their industry St. Patrick's Day party into a benefit for children's cancer. It has since grown to fund more in childhood research grants than any other organization except the U.S. government. Last year was the first year we held an event in Notre Dame, and we were able to generate over $26,000 in donations. And over 140 men, and yes, some women, came out to shave their heads. This year's new goal we have set at $50,000, and we're hoping to make that. This year, everyone will be shaving their heads the week of the Blue Gold game, which the Blue Gold game is going to be on April 24th. And the reason why I'm creating this video blog is because I didn't want to just go out and ask for donations. I wanted to provide people with something more and let them know that I've put in a lot of time so that if they enjoy this and they have the ability to give to St. Baldrick's, that I'd really appreciate it if they did. And my personal goal is to raise $5,000. Basically, I'm hoping that at worst, if I can just get 100 of the people that come to this site to donate just $10, that'll be over $1,000 that we generate. What you can do is you can use the link that I provided on the page. You'll see it on the right side with all the videos. You'll see donations, and you'll also see a link to our St. Baldrick's site for Notre Dame. If you can go through that, that'd be great, because if you donate straight through the St. Baldrick's site, we can't track if it's actually coming from Notre Dame, and then also who you're actually donating towards. And yes, I will too be shaving my head, and that's why you'll see this hair will grow longer and longer as these videos go. But as I said, just use the link, and if you have any questions, please just send me an email or use any means on my blog to get in touch with me. To give you an idea of the setup of this, first of all, I have to say that I'm not very tech savvy, so I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. I've been spending quite a bit of time working through all this software, and it's been a pain, but as I said, I'm hoping that this will generate some good returns for these kids. But the setup of this is, what I want to do is, I want to tell you the stories and kind of how they unfolded, as I said, from the summer of my junior year all the way up through to where I first started playing, and then once I started playing, everything that was going through my head and happening on and off the field. And what I'm going to do along the way is I'm going to include some pictures as you're seeing throughout this episode, and then also as we go along, I'll hopefully include more game film so that you can see kind of the plays that I talk about during the episodes, as well as hopefully get some other things to add to it. And along the way, if you guys can provide any feedback either via email to me or just through my blog, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm doing this for you guys, so anything you guys think you want to hear about more, anything I can do, please let me know. To give you a little personal background on myself, I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago. I went to Carl Sandburg High School, and I just have an unbelievable family. I have two older brothers, Nick, who's 2 years older than me, and then Chris, who's 5 years older than me. Nick scored the game-winning goal in the state championship his senior year for soccer, and then went on to play in college. And Chris he was a 145-pound center. Didn't play much his sophomore or junior year. He played some freshman year, but just kept battling out, kept grinding, and kept coming back. And his senior year ended up working in the starting lineup and never gave up a position after probably the second or third game of the season. And so growing up, I always had those two guys to look up to. So it really made things easy for me when I'd get into sports and I'd see those guys as role models and just try to be like them and emulate them. And then I also have two just fantastic parents, Andy and Sue. They've been the rocks in my life, and I don't know what I'd do without them. And basically, they've always been there to support me in whatever I did and have just gone out of their way to really help me. And without them, I don't know where I'd be right now. When it comes to sports, I played soccer competitively up until 7th grade. I wrestled starting in 5th grade, and I played baseball, traveling baseball, pretty much all my life. And basically, 7th grade year for soccer, everyone moved on because I was playing up a year. And so I decided if I was going to play football, if I was going to play soccer. My parents had always said, you're small, we're keeping you out of that. But my oldest brother, who played football, I always worked on him. And they finally let me in my 8th grade year and just had a great time doing that. And after that, When I was going into college, or going into high school, my main sport was wrestling. And I was taking a tough course load, so I said, you know what? I want to focus on wrestling, I want to focus on school. So I did that freshman year, did well, wrestled varsity, did pretty well for a freshman. And then sophomore year came around, and I was like, you know what? I want to do football again. So ended up going out for the team, had fun, but never really saw the field. And coach came up to me after the season, put his arm around me and said, Mike, you know, if you were 15 pounds heavier and a couple inches taller, you would have been every down player. Unfortunately, you know, just a little bit too small. And, you know, I just kind of smiled and walked away after that. And sophomore year during wrestling went well again, and coach just kind of said, you know, we see a future for you in wrestling. We want you to concentrate on that. And so junior year, I decided just for wrestling, I'd concentrate on that, and did well. But going into senior year again, I just got that itch, and I said, you know what, I want to play. These are all my best friends are on the football team. I want to go out and just play with them. And so went out again, just had an unbelievable season. We ended up finishing in the Elite Eight for the state in the biggest division in Illinois. I ended up playing corner all year and just really made so many memories with so many of my best friends that I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it ended up paying off in the end, as you'll find out. But then wrestling season came along, and we had high expectations going into that. I unfortunately ended up taking third in the state. I lost in the semifinals to a guy who ended up going on to win 4 state championships, but lost in the last 30 seconds. He caught me, and frustrated with that, but you know, you move on. We ended up finishing number 1 in the state as a team, so that was exciting, and number 3 overall in the nation as a wrestling team. So really ended the season well. And from there, I was trying to decide on where I was going to go to college, and I decided to go to University of Notre Dame or University of Illinois. I was pretty dead set on doing that. They had a special business program I had gotten into, and I really enjoyed it. But I came out to Notre Dame in mid-April, and you have to decide by May 1st where you're going to go. And I was walking through Dillon Hall, and just one of the janitors stopped me, and we were talking for a little bit. And when she left, I just remember thinking to myself, you know, there's something different about this place. Just the way the students must treat everyone just meant a lot to me, and that's something that's really important to me. And from then on, I was like, you know, this is a special place, this is a special community, and I want to be a part of it. And so once I decided that Notre Dame was definitely the place for me, I was sitting one morning with my football coach just saying, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to try walking on the football team. And he kind of looked at me, shook his head, laughed a little bit, and said, you know what, Mike, go for it. Why not? And I said, you know what, Coach, as long as I just keep pushing, worst comes to worst, I'll stay in shape for another 8 months. You know, best case scenario, I'll make the team. And he says, Mike, you know what, you can do it, bud. Get after it. And so that's basically how the story began. So if you guys, as I said, if you guys watch these episodes and you enjoy them, I'd appreciate any support you can give to St. Baldrick's and me cutting all my hair off. But thank you again, and I hope you guys enjoy. Take care.